Hello and welcome to Solidworks Station. My name's Stuart, and in today's tutorial we're going to have a look at a previous year CSWA exam question. If by the end of this tutorial you're struggling with the content or there's something that you've not particularly understood too well, please get in touch and I will be more than happy to spend some time with you in order to resolve that or resolve any confusion or any problems that you've encountered while trying to complete this particular exam question. Best of luck everyone, and let's get started. Okay, welcome back. What we're going to do to start off with is we're just going to go through this question and just see what information we can pull from this straight away. So it's saying question 6, build this part in SolidWorks. It's telling us that our material that we're going to specify is going to be a 6061 alloy, which will be an aluminium. It's telling us that our density of that material is got to be 0.0027 grams per millimeters cubed. The unit system that we're going to be using in SolidWorks is mmgs, standing for millimeters, grams and seconds. We're going to be working to 2 decimal places. Our part origin is arbitrary. What arbitrary means is it's up to the user. There's no specific point that this has to start. It's totally up to the user of where that goes. So they're not precious about that particular origin point. And we're also given the letter A is 100 millimeters. So we can see here on the drawing, if I just highlight some stuff here, we've got a value of A here, and we've got a value of A here as well. So both of these values here are at 100. What I'm going to start off doing in this particular tutorial is we're going to draw from a right plane to start off with, and we're going to be putting these values in. Okay, the ones that I'm highlighting now. Okay, the 200, the 100, the 25, 37.5, the 50. We've got a 10 here, a 40. We'll worry about this later on, but we've got a 60 here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw this line across. I'm not going to put this arc in, I'm just going to put an angle down, and then I'm going to be concentrating on this bit here. So this is 50, and my 15 is 65, and then I've got a height here of 25. So I'm just going to draw this in to start off with, and then extrude it out by A, which is 100. Okay, so that's going to be the first starting point. Right, so I've got SolidWorks open. I'm going to go into File, New, and create a new part. Now, as I said before, I'm going to draw this in a right plane, so I'm going to go to right plane and normal 2. I'm going to start off with my sketch. Let me just bring up the drawing. So I'm going to just indicate here what I'm going to be drawing. I'm going to be drawing in the right plane, okay, this outline, as you can see here, and I've got lots of values to help me do that. So I'm going to highlight those in blue. So I've got a 50, I've got a 200, 37.5, a 25, I've got a 10, 40, this 60. I'm not going to draw this arc in just yet. I'm going to do that as an angled line. I've got a 50 here that is of interest to me. I've got a 15 here, a 25, and I've got my A, which is 100 millimeters. So those are the values that I'm going to be using in order to try and produce this particular face of the model. So let's go to sketch, line, and let's sketch that out just roughly to start off with. So I'm going to go across. Oops. So I'm going to go across. I'm just going to be following the outline. There's my angle going down, like so. And we're going to start to put some dimensions in now. Let's put some relations in to start off with. I want this point, this point, this point, and this point all to be horizontal with each other. And I want this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point to remain horizontal with each other. Okay, let's bring up that drawing. Let's have a little look. So let's put in the 50, the 37.5, and the 25 to start off with. So this line here, we want at 50. This one here, we want at 37.5. And this gap here, we want at 25. The gap between this edge here and this edge here is 100. So this edge to this edge is 100. I've got an overall distance of 200 here from front edge to back edge. Okay, don't worry about this at the moment. Okay, we can move this, that's not a problem. All I'm doing though is left clicking on them and just dragging them, that's it. Right, we've got a height here of 10. We've got a height for our back edge of 40. We've got a height for our front edge of 25. Let's put this value in here as 60. And we calculated that the 15 plus the 50 was 65. So let's put that in here. And we're fully defined. All our lines have turned black, which indicates that we're fully defined on our sketch. This bit here, remember, we're not worried about at the moment. We're going to put in that arc once we've extruded this by 100. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to Features. Let's go to Extrude. And don't forget, in our drawing here, the A value was 100, so we're extruding back at 100 millimeters, okay, which is this bit here. So we're going to pop in 100 millimeters. Left click on the drawing area to see the update. Okay, but I'm going to do this mid-plane. I like to keep everything as symmetric as possible when working in SolidWorks. Just makes things a little easier sometimes. So mid-plane, 100, and green tick. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this space and I'm going to say normal 2. Now from here I'm going to be drawing in a circle with a radius of 50. I know the position of this is 100 millimeters from this side to here. Okay, I know that the tangent edge of this circle is going to be 60 millimeters. Okay, until it starts to get cut off at this point. And I know 5 millimeters is important as well. So let's just erase what we've got on here and let's start to highlight what's important to us. I'm going to do it in blue again. So blue, we've got this radius of 50, we've got a 60 value, we've got this 5 value here, and I know that this line here, okay, is telling me it's running as a center at a center point. Okay, so I've got 100 millimeters here. So my 50 plus my 50 is 100. Okay, and I'm going to do a check as well after this. So I'm going to put it in at 100, and then I'm just going to check that this point here, let's highlight that in a different color. Do that in red. I'm going to check that this point here is 60 millimeters away from that back edge. Okay, so that's the way that I'm going to go about this. So back into SolidWorks. Let's go and into Sketch and grab a circle. You just need to pick a face. So I want to pick this face, normal 2, Sketch and circle. Just drag a circle in, smart dimension it up at 100. Okay. You can display that as a radius. Okay, I'm just right clicking that. So right click, okay, and just say display as radius. Just to make it so it looks like it did on the drawing, so you're not getting confused at all. So radius there, then I know that from the centre to here is going to be 45. Okay, it would be 50, okay, which is our radius, but it says on the drawing here that there's a 5mm gap. Okay, a 5mm gap between this edge and the bottom of the circle. So I've got that in. Let me put my 100 in now from this front face. So from the front face to this centre point is 100. Okay. So that is now in position. However, I'm going to drop a point here. I'm just going to measure from that point to that edge. This should be 60. Yeah. Perfect. So it's in the right position. From here, we can do an extruded cut now. And we're going to be cutting back from that red point that I've just checked to this red point by 30. Okay. So back into SolidWorks, features, extruded cut this time, and we're going to be cutting back blind. That's fine, but 30mm in that direction. Yeah, and green tick. Perfect. Good start. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. Okay, so for the next bit, what we're going to concentrate on, if I just bring up my drawing again, is we're going to concentrate on this particular feature that we've got here. Now, this has been drawn at a bit of an angle. I'll just indicate that to you in red. This is of a lot of importance at this angle here. We're going to have to create a new bit of reference geometry, which will come in the form of a new plane at 20 degrees to this line here, this plane, this top plane. Other information that is of importance is it's a 15mm offset to this edge. It's 50mm in total from this edge to this edge. We've got 40mm here for the length of this line. And we've also got a radius of 25 for this arc. I might draw that in as a circle and then select the entities in order to extrude it to this surface. So let's use that information in order to just draw this bit to start off with, and then we'll end with just completing this small cylindrical extrude on the top. So those of you that are new to SolidWorks or new to create referencing planes, it's really simple. We're just going to click on top plane to start off with. Okay, that is our first bit of reference geometry. And we're going to go up to the Features tab, into Reference Geometry and select Plane. Now, because we've clicked on top plane, it's put that as our first reference. Our second reference is going to be an edge. We're going to use this edge here as our second reference. Okay. We can now go back in to our first reference, click on the angle, and we can change this. As we can see in the drawing, it stipulates it's got to be 20 degrees, so we can simply put in our 20-degree angle here. Just click inside this area and you can see that that 20-degree angle has been put in for us. However, it has been put in at this being 20 degrees, okay, this angle here. We want it on the other side. So simply click on the flip offset and it will put in the 20-degree angle on this side instead. Green tick that. And what you can do with that plane, you can use these pincers here and just drag that up. Okay, it does cover the whole of that plane. It does look a bit confusing when you're first starting off, okay, but that plane, if we just look side on, it is covering that area. So we're going to go into this plane now and we're going to go normal to, and we're going to create a sketch. So let's go to the Sketch tab and go to Sketch. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a center line in. Okay, from this edge here, I'm going to draw a center line like so. And if I look at my drawing, I know that the center point of this particular feature here is going to be 15 plus half of the 50 value. So that's 25 here, and then plus my 15 will give me 40. So I'm going to go into Smart Dimension. I'm going to Smart Dimension from this edge here, 40 millimeters. From here, I'm then going to offset this line bidirectionally by 25. So if you imagine I've got my center line in here, I need to go 25 to produce this line, and from here 25 this way to produce this line. So in your search command, if you type in offset, you might have it up here. Okay, if not, go to offset entities. I've also got it on my S key. So if I press the S key now, you'll notice that I've got offset here. The way that I've got that onto this particular palette is by right clicking on this ribbon, go into customize, go to shortcut bars, go into sketch. You can see that this is my sketch palette. It's over here at the moment. I'll just pop it back in there, and all I've done is gone to this one here, which is the offset entities icon. Left click, hold, drag it, and just drop it onto that palette like so. So every time that I press my S key when I'm in a sketch command, okay, this palette comes up and I've got my offset entities. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to choose 25 in for my parameter, bidirectional, and I'm just going to click on this line. You can see I've got two 25mm lines now that's appeared either side of that center line. I'm going to go ahead and click on the green tick. I'm going to get a line now and join those two up, like so. And I'm going to grab a circle from this point here to this point here, and that is my radius of 25. Let's go and just check that. So just click on this point here. Yeah, diameter 50. Let's show that as a radius. Yeah, there we go, radius of 25. Now, I could go ahead and trim this up. You don't have to. So you can see I've drawn on that plane there. There's my sketch on the plane. You could, if you wanted to, trim away this arc here that you've got, which is part of the circle. You don't need to, though, because you can go into Features, Extrude Boss Base, and you can select the contours that you want to extrude. So I want to extrude this one, and this one. However, not in this direction. Flip the direction, okay, as we can see here now, but this is going through my model. I don't want that, so I'm going to change blind to up to surface, and I'm going to click on this as my surface, and you can see what's happened. Okay, it has been extruded up to this particular face, which is what we want. So from here, we're going to click on the green tick. Okay, we can hide that plane now. So hide the plane, and we can have a little look at what we've produced. Now from here, we can start to produce this particular feature, which is this cylinder. It's 15 high. It's got a 12mm diameter hole. Now it says here all holes are through all. So I'm presuming that this one here is through all. It says unless otherwise specified. Well, it hasn't specified that it's anything different, so I'm going to go through all with this particular hole. Okay, and it's a diameter 25. So we're going to click on this face like so. We're going to say normal 2. We're going to grab a sketch, circle. Now if I just hover over this arc, can you see I've got a center point now, which is here. I'm just going to left click on that, sketch out, and you can see I'm sketching on that surface. Okay, smart dimension this up with a diameter of 25. Extrude it by 15. Let's just clear this off so we can highlight what we're doing. So we're using the 25. We're going to be using this diameter 12, and we're going to be using this 15. Okay, so extrude, blind, 15. And green tick that. And then we're going to sketch on this surface. So we'll click on the surface, we go normal 2, and we sketch a circle. Hover over this point, we get a center point. This needs to be 12mm diameter, and we've said that on the drawing it says every hole should be cut through all unless otherwise stated. So features, extruded cut, it hasn't stated that it's going to be anything else, so through all. Okay, and that's going to take me out of the back face there. and green tick. Okay, so that's the next section done. Well done. Okay, so for the next part, what we're going to focus on is we're going to look at, if I just clear this again, we're going to have a look at creating this bit here. Now, right at the start, okay, I put an angle in here because I knew I was going to extrude cut this arc here by 30 millimeters. This angle that we've got here, all right, is actually at 30 degrees. Now, there's ways of going around this. You could have started off in the drawing and put that 30-degree line in. Okay, I chose not to. I'm going to do that now. Okay, I'm going to edit the original sketch and put in some known dimensions. So I know that this is 30 degrees and I know that this is 100. So I'm going to go into my sketch and show you that you can change that at any time. So into SolidWorks, and I'm just going to go and go to my view cube. So I'm going to press my space bar and I'm going to look from this face. Now this angle that I've got here, okay, has got to be 30 degrees. It also starts at 100 millimeters. Let's highlight some stuff. So I'll do this in blue. That A value is important because that's 100 millimeters to when that angle starts. This 30-degree angle is also important. So if I go into my SolidWorks sketch, go to my original sketch here and just edit the sketch. I can take away this 60 millimeters. I don't need that. And I can take away this 65. I don't need that. What I do need is that starting point is 100 millimeters. Okay, and I also now need this angle. If I click on this line, click on this point, and I want this angle. I want that to be 30 degrees. Just green tick, and then just exit the sketch. Okay, and I've got my starting point for my new feature that starts at the back here. 100 millimeters up. Okay, this is where it starts. So this line here is my starting point for that sketch. So what I can do now is I can click on this face and I can say normal 2. First thing I'm going to do is go into a sketch, go grab a center line and pop in a center line here. Now to that center point, okay, is telling me it's 50 millimeters. So let's just highlight that. So I can just erase the ink there and let's just highlight what's of importance now. So the 50 is of importance. We're going to, well, we know this value here because we've got our 100 minus 30, okay, which leaves us with 70. I just, for this line here, okay, that is going to be 70. So from the center point, I'm going to offset 35 either side to get these two lines. And I've got a radius here, which is of importance as well, of 35. So let's go put those in to start off with. I think that's a good starting point. So into SolidWorks, I've put my center line in, which I knew was 50. So dimension this up at 50. And I can offset. So remember, you can type it up there. I can press my S key and use offset by 35. Bidirectional, remember, and just click on that line. Just going to close those lines off like so. And I'm going to get a circle and I'm going to draw in my circle there. And just going to check that that is a 35 millimeter radius, which it is. We had that on the drawing here. And there's no need to trim anything up here. What we're going to do is simply go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, and select the contours. We want this one, we want this one, and we want this one. We don't need these, okay, because these, if I just spin the model round, these are already drawn, okay, on the 30-degree plane, so we don't need these. This is going in the wrong direction. We need up to surface, and this being our surface. Okay, and that's what we get. so we can green tick. Okay, Control 7 on the keyboard, just have a nice isometric view of that. And then we can go back into our engineering drawing. Let's just clear off that ink and let's have a look what we've got to do next. Okay, so next we're going to look at producing these channels that we've got here. So let's highlight some information that's of interest. We've got a 10mm width to this channel, a 10mm width to this channel that we've got running from top to bottom. We've got a 5mm cut that's happening, a 15mm hole in the center, and a 25mm circle around the outside. We also are going to highlight some stuff in red that might cause issues. This point here, okay, I am guessing that we might need to move a face here, as I think that that's going to come back at a 30-degree angle as opposed to 90 degrees. I'm also going to highlight this bit here where it says material 6061 alloy, as we are yet to still apply that material. So let's go into SolidWorks and put these channels in. The first thing I'm going to start off with is by sketching on this face, normal 2 and circle. I'm going to hover over this arc, pick up this center point and just draw in there my 25mm diameter circle. I'm then going to place some center lines through here, so from top to bottom, and go and grab another center line and pop another center line in. I'm going to go midpoint line this time. Okay, from the center, stretch that out like so, and then I'm going to offset those lines by 5mm. So I'm going to go to my S key, offset 5mm bi-directional, click on this line, click on this line, and I think that is it. Yeah. Okay, from here we're going to tick this and we're going to say features, extruded cut, and we're going to select the contours that we want to cut. So we want to cut this contour, this contour, this contour, and this contour, and all this section here, like so. And we're going to go we're going to be going down by, and we're going to be going down by 5mm. So change that 15 to 5. Just ensure we're going down and green tick. Okay, I'm going to click back on this surface and normal 2. Sketch, circle, just hover over this point, get my center point, draw in my 15mm hole, or circle should I say, at this moment in time. I'm going to go to features, extruded cut, change blind to through all, and green tick. And then I'm just going to sort out this issue that we've got here. At the moment, that line there is going back at a 30-degree angle. I don't want that. I want it to sit straight with this edge. So I'm going to type up here move face. If I click on the eye, it shows me where to get it from. So it's saying it's insert, face, and move. So I could go around it that way. However, I like to type up my commands up here, search them, and then just select them from here. So move face. So I need to rotate this face. Just left click on it. Yeah, it's asking me for the parameter axis reference. I'm just going to use this line here, and I'm going to type in here 30 degrees. Okay, just move it back so it sits in line with this edge, and green tick, and you can see there that's been updated. So that was the last change that I had to make. I'm just going to recheck the drawing, make sure there's nothing else. Let's just erase all. I'm still going to highlight this because we still need to look at that material. However, everything else that's been stipulated on the drawing we have in place, which is good. Okay, the last thing we need to do then is apply a material. So I'm just going to do Control 7, keep this in an isometric view, and then where it says material over here on the left hand side, I'm just going to right click and say edit material, we need the 6061 aluminium alloy. So just close steel, go to aluminium alloys, open that up, scroll down to the bottom and pick 6061 alloy, and we need to ensure that the density is correct. So our density is 0.0027 grams per millimeters cubed, and we have a mass density here of meters cubed. So obviously if we take off 3 noughts from here, okay, so 1, 2, 3, and obviously we're working in kilograms as opposed to grams, so we need to apply 3 noughts. So let's put those on. So imagine our decimal points here. Okay, we need to go 1, 2, 3, which would make that 2700, which is what we have got in here. 2700 kilograms per meters cubed. Perfect. So we're going to apply that material and close. And there we have it. There is the final model for that CSWA past examination. If you've run into any problems at all or any difficulties, please get in touch and I'll be more than happy to answer some of your questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Solidworks Station. Thank you very much everybody, and goodbye.